Nowadays, earning achievements and trophies is as much a part of the completion experience as collectibles and a New Game Plus run. They don't net the same rewards as the other two, but I can't deny that I get a quick shot of endorphins every time I hear that ping and see the badge icon show up in the corner of my screen somewhere. However, that's not always enough for the amount of work that goes into each of these. Some of these achievements and trophies require dozens of hours of dedication, which equates to the length of a whole game sometimes several games. If I'm going to have to perfect these types of games, I'll be needing a lot more than a ping and a picture. Some of these are so ridiculously difficult that they have made me avoid the games entirely. But I will say, because you guys loved my first video, it was time for me to make a second. On top of that, I've opened up the door to in-game achievements so that I can give some Nintendo Switch titles the love they deserve. So without further ado, here are 10 more of what I think are the worst achievements in video games. As a reminder, I haven't done these achievements myself, and you're going to see why.
Number 10.
A type of achievement that really grinds my gears is one that works against the core values of the main game. Let's take, for example, Devil May Cry. That's a game where you play as a badass demon slayer who spends the whole game hacking, slashing, and shooting at enemies. And you're supposed to keep it as fast and flashy if you want those S ranks. You know what I don't want in those kinds of games? Become Jane Goodall and try to learn what makes those demons tick. The I Read You Like a Book achievement in Devil May Cry 1 does exactly that. It requires you to unlock all of the entries for every enemy file in the status menu. This seems like any other game's normal bestiary, but filling up every file requires more than just encountering the 19 different enemies. Instead, you have to spend a majority of your time just watching the enemies execute their own attacks. This is contrary to everything that the Devil May Cry series stands for, which is being cool as hell and racking up combos by butchering demons as fast as you possibly can. This is made even worse by the fact that this is a PS2 era game with achievements added onto it. That almost never goes well. These 140 total actions are particularly finicky, with some requiring you to wait until Dante's being attacked, which again is something the player would never actively aim to do. This game may be Devil May Cry, but this boring achievement is more like Player May Yawn, just like that goddamn joke.
Number 9.
Pokemon Snap remains one of the most calming completion experiences of my life. It only takes about 5 hours to complete, and it's brimming with Pokemon interactions. So when a sequel was finally released after 22 years, I was more than ready to complete it as well. But this time, things were different. Very different. New Pokemon Snap may be graphically superior, but there was a much bigger emphasis on perfection and finishing NPC requests. What really got me are these titles you can earn for yourself. Most of these titles are relatively easy or simply require lots of practice, things I am more than willing to do. But others are just time sinks that pad out the game's length instead of adding anything valuable. Such is the case with the title known as Influencer. Beyond the base game of on-rails photography, one of the new cool features of new Pokemon Snap is that you can edit and share photos with players all around the world. And if you see one you like, you can give it some sweet medals to let that photographer know. The Influencer title originally required you to receive 1 million sweet medals. Not only is the task daunting, but it's bullshit too. Sorry, Toro shit. The Influencer title would later be reduced from 1 million to 100,000, but people give 10 sweet medals at a time, and 100,000 is still too much. It ruins the completion experience, leaving you hoping instead of actively participating. And to answer your question, no, I have not gotten this title yet. I've been trying to for years. That's one of the many reasons why I haven't finished completing this game.
Number 8.
Most Final Fantasy games do a wonderful job of building an epic story in a fantastical land with a lovable group of characters. The scope is gigantic, with everyone in the party usually trying to stop the cataclysmic destruction of their world or community or life. But you know what this is missing? Jump rope. Final Fantasy IX starts the game off in Alexandria with the Black Mage Vivi. There are many things to do in the city, including jump rope. This seems useless at first, but it is actually necessary if you want to get every key item in the game. If you successfully jump rope 1,000 times, you will earn the King of Jump Rope item that literally does nothing. This nothingness was then emphasized in the 2017 re-release by attaching a useless achievement to it. Called Hail to the King, this achievement does nothing but make it even more necessary to do this awful minigame. And it's not just awful because it's boring, it's broken too. If you try to jump whenever the exclamation point is over Vivi's head, you will fail. Instead, it is recommended that you close your eyes and focus on the rhythmic sound of jumping rope. Close your eyes for a distinctly visual medium. Awesome. To add salt to the wound, the developers of the game were bad at this as well, noting they could only get a few dozen jumps successfully. They said that if someone could get to 1,000 jumps, they'd probably just tell them to stop wasting their time and get back to work. Even the people making this game knew that this achievement sucked. This stupid level of difficulty has led to people online creating scripts through remote play on PC that will make a computer beat this for you. People may have complained about the jump rope genius moon in Super Mario Odyssey, but a genius is nothing compared to the king.
Number 7.
This is the story of a man named Gerard. Gerard created content on the media platform YouTube under the moniker of The Completionist. He would complete a game and create videos about his experience with the help of his crew over at That One Video Entertainment LLC. The next game in his sights was The Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe, a remake and pseudo-sequel to the original Stanley Parable released in the year 2022. Gerard began playing the game and was enjoying its sense of humor and the way it toyed with the idea of player choice in a video game. However, things took a drastic turn when he looked up the achievements for the game. Most of them seemed rather easy, and some even made him giggle. Playing the game for the entirety of a Tuesday? That's ridiculous. But it was the Super Go Outside achievement that earned most of his vitriol. This achievement would require Gerard to not play the game for 10 whole years, twice as long as the Go Outside achievement from the original game. Yet, determined to his cause as the completionist, Gerard picked up his controller and began to play the game anyways. Gerard walked away from the game, not wanting to have to wait 10 long years to complete this wonderfully meta game. Who knew what the YouTube algorithm or the state of the completionist would look like then? He decided not to risk it. Anyways, it is time for you, the viewer, to move on to entry number 6.
Number 6.
Last year, I visited the world of Solid Snake with Metal Gear Solid: The Twin Snakes. In my opinion, it was a wonderful update to a classic that reinvigorated my love and appreciation for the franchise. And I've been excited to play Metal Gear Solid 2 on the show for quite some time. But there is one achievement that makes me second guess completing this game. Virtually impossible. One of the major things separating Metal Gear Solid 2 from majority of the games out there, besides a blonde pretty boy, are the VR and alternate missions. These are side missions focusing on specific aspects of gameplay that you can do with either Snake or Raiden in various costumes. For the virtually impossible achievement, you have to pass every single one of these missions. How many different missions are there for these 7 total characters? Oh, only 511. That's right. 511 total missions. That's enough missions for some full games. And most of them are just filler and repeat things you've done earlier. So yes, it isn't necessarily difficult, it is unbelievably time consuming. Do I want to play as Snake in a tuxedo? Absolutely. But do I want to sink around 40 hours into mostly repetitive missions? Considering I've done that a lot recently in the last few years, no way.
Number 5.
One of the most difficult feats in first-person shooters is beating a Halo campaign in Lasso mode. Lasso stands for Legendary All Skulls On, meaning you're beating the game on the hardest difficulty with a ton of restrictions applied to gameplay, including tougher enemies, weaker shields, and less ammo. It is a daunting task that requires perfect play from the go. This becomes even more daunting when you have to do it for all of the Halo games. That's where the Lasso Master Achievement comes into play. Easily the most difficult achievement in Halo the Master Chief Collection, you earn Lasso Master once you beat Lasso Mode on all 4 of the numbered Halo games. Beating one of these games on its hardest difficulty is already hard enough, trust me, I did it for Halo 1. But 4 is a completely different story. The only good news about completing this achievement is that Halo Reach and ODST do not apply since they were added in DLC after the Master Chief Collection's release. But even then, there's still 4 games you need to become one of the best players in the world at. That's 3 more games than most achievements require. Technically, I am 1/4 of the way through this Goliath of an achievement, but completing the other 3 games will mean completing 3 other games. So this just leaves one question for you, the viewer. Is it pronounced Lasso or Lasso? I've been saying Lasso, but people say Lasso as well. I don't know how I feel. Debate in the comments down below.
Number 4.
Curt Hennig was a professional wrestler whose whole gimmick in the WWF was built around being perfect at everything. He could make half-court shots without looking at the basket. He always bowled a 300. He could even catch his own Hail Mary pass for a touchdown. This earned him his moniker of Mr. Perfect. But Hennig isn't the only Mr. Perfect in the world. There's also the Mr. Perfect achievement for Mega Man 10. And much like how the fans hated Hennig, I hate this achievement. That's because the Mr. Perfect achievement wants you to beat the entire game of Mega Man 10 without getting hit once. Now, can you save in between levels? Yes. Can you play through it on easy mode? Also yes. But that doesn't change the fact that this is a Mega Man game and you can't get hit once. I've been playing games featuring the Blue Bomber as far back as I can remember. But even if I were to play my favorite Mega Man game, Mega Man X, I don't think I'd be able to do the whole thing through it unscathed. Look, I love just about everything having to do with Mega Man. I even think Mega Man 10 is a great, underrated game. But part of the whole process of Mega Man is facing an obstacle, figuring it out, and beating that level in spite of any failures. The Mr. Perfect achievement completely removes this process, forcing you to memorize everything that can possibly happen instead of just, playing the damn game. This achievement has forever damaged my opinion of Mega Man 10, where Curt Hennig was later recognized as one of the hardest working and best technical wrestlers of all time. The Mr. Perfect achievement makes me never want to touch Mega Man 10 ever again.
Number 3.
Crypt of the Necrodancer is one of the most inventive games to come out this last decade, utilizing rhythm mechanics to create rapid turn-based gameplay in a roguelike. I also really love the fine folks who've worked on this game. Brace Yourself Games is an incredible studio that you all should go check out their games for. However, there is one achievement that has even the most stalwart necrotic bunheads shaking in their undead tap shoes. The Impossible Right achievement. Impossible Right simply asks that you get through every zone in the game with Coda, the final character you unlock. This sounds easy until you realize that even though Coda is the last character you unlock, she is by far the worst character in the game. Coda's music moves twice as fast as the other characters. If you miss a beat, she'll die. She also only has half a heart of health that can't be increased. If she gets hit, she'll die. Every enemy now drops a minimum of 1 gold, and if she touches said gold, she'll die. Finally, she can only carry a dagger, arguably the weakest weapon in the game. There is nothing working to Coda's advantage. You cannot take on an enemy stronger than you can't accidentally hit a wall, or go off rhythm for even a single beat. Playing as Coda demands that you become a master of Crypt of the Necrodancer, and it doesn't look like many people have done this so far. I've tried looking up guides for this, but most of them simply say practice the game for hundreds or thousands of hours. Even the person who programmed Coda into the game, Ryan Clark, said it in a Kotaku interview that even he hadn't done it. And this is the guy who made the game.
Number 2.
Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon Advanced Warfighter isn't just a smorgasbord of military buzzwords that's too obvious for its own good. You're a warfighter in a Tom Clancy game? No way! It's also home to my first worst achievements video #1 spot, where you just had to become the best player in the world. And sure, that is a ludicrous request for any multiplayer game to make. But at least the developers there had the excuse that achievements were brand new and that they had no idea what made a good achievement at the time. The people People over at Elder Scrolls Online, however, have no such excuse. In Elder Scrolls Online, there's an achievement simply called Emperor, requiring you to become the highest ranked member of your alliance once you've conquered all 6 of the keeps around Imperial City. This may seem attainable in any standard MMO, but Elder Scrolls adds on the extra layer of having to do this in PvP. That means people are constantly gunning for that position, whether they're in your alliance or in the 2 others on the server. Now look, I'm a big MMO guy nowadays, but this is unreasonably difficult, especially since it doesn't actually require skill to achieve it. The best advice I could find was to spend as much time grinding out basic tasks as possible instead of, playing the actual game. On top of this, Elder Scroll Online is not just a regular multiplayer game, it is an MMO. That means that any time spent that you're not grinding away this achievement, other people around the world are. This dedication required to achieve this isn't just demanding, it's unhealthy. You literally have to do nothing else but play Elder Scrolls Online for at least a month straight, hoping that by the end you'll be the lucky one who actually succeeded. Remember the South Park episode where they did nothing but play World of Warcraft? Yeah, it's kind of like that. It's not worth it. Yeah, you'll get some other boons in the skill line, a rank, and a new outfit, but it all comes at the cost of being a person, and no title or trophy is worth that.
Number 1!
All right, so this last one is kind of weird because the truth of it all is that any one of these types of games from this specific franchise probably has an achievement or 2 that's really bad. So I chose the one that is really the roughest overall, in my opinion. Now, I'm not usually the biggest fan of Battle Royale games, but there is one that immediately grabbed my attention, Tetris 99. Combining the easy to learn, difficult to master mechanics of Tetris with all the cutthroat winner takes all mentality of the Hunger Games. Designed and made specifically for the Nintendo Switch, and you can play it for free. It was the perfect pick up and play game. However, things changed in September of 2019 when the game was updated with in-game player icon missions, serving as in-game achievements. Some of these were standard, while others were difficult, but based on skill. And then there are just a whole bunch that were just plain stupid. Unlike other games on this list, Tetris 99 had multiple missions that reflected my least favorite parts of achievement culture. So I'd like to highlight the 5 worst that Tetris 99 has to offer. Achieve Tetris Maximus in 3 consecutive battles. It's hard enough to win a single game of Tetris, but now I have to do it 3 times in a row? Come on, that's rough. Achieve Tetris Maximus 10 times while competing on a team of 10 players or fewer. Unfortunately, you have no idea how many members are on your team until the game starts, so you can be screwed right off the bat even trying just to beat this mission. Achieve Tetris Maximus with 3 or fewer KOs in a Tetris 99 online battle. Part of the goal of a regular battle is to KO as many players as possible to improve your garbage multiplier. This achievement actually rewards pacifism while simultaneously raising the overall difficulty as you're actively trying to avoid accidental KOs. It changes your focus on what this game should be. Come on! Collect 999 tickets. Every day, there are 4 daily missions that give you a single ticket each. These are meant to be spent on new themes for your screen. This icon mission essentially asks you to not do that and become a hoarder. Not only will you not get any of those cool themes, but you'll need to not get them and save them for at least 250 days. And that's if you're playing the version you paid for. It takes twice as long with the free version. Come on! But the worst one of all wants you to finish top 10 in Tetris 99 online battles 3 times without using the hold Q or performing T-spins or Tetris line clears. This means that you have to finish in the top 10 by not doing all the things that good Tetris players do. What makes this even worse is that you have to do some of these in order to stay alive, or they can happen by accident, which is even more frustrating. For years, I was trained to hold the eyepiece and save them to get a Tetris. That's the name of the game. And now you want me to not do that. All 5 of these missions hit the things that I hate most about achievements. They either require perfection, luck, a horrendous amount of time, not playing to your own full potential, or some combination of the 4. These in-game achievements take what is the epitome of casual gaming and make it a completionist nightmare. And that's why I think that Tetris 99 has some of the worst achievements of all time. Thank you everyone for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you like what you see here and want to support the show, you can head over to our Patreon, buy a t-shirt, or if you're in Boston, you can come see me perform a live show the week of PAX East, March 26th at the Middle Eastern Sonia venue. And hey, if you want to dive deeper into the abyss that is awful video game achievements, you can check out my original video right here. I promise that everything there is equally horrendous. That's it for now. I'll see you guys next time.